All right, guys, Coach Young here, and we're talking about protein and amino acids, which is a good thing because is it ever possible for a personal trainer to talk too much about protein? No way, dude. Whey being a protein supplement. So, we're going to talk about sources of protein, plant versus animal, the structure of an amino acid, essential and non-essential amino acids, and how the shape of those amino acids and the structure affects the structure and the function of a protein. And then we'll talk a little bit about the amino acid pools. So let's get started into this. So proteins are found in our food, and the word protein comes from Greek proteos, meaning of primary importance. Now, the sources of protein that you eat impact not only the amount of protein that you get, but also the variety of nutrients that you're going to receive as well. So, the key here that you want to know and tell your clients is variety is good. So, getting your protein from tuna, from sirloin steak, from chicken, from eggs, from your plant sources such as legumes, those are all really good ways to get a variety mixture of your protein. Now, let's talk about proteins and amino acids. So, proteins are essential to every cellular function in your body. They catalyze chemical reactions. For example, with enzymes, I was in the store just the other day buying frozen blueberries with my dad there beside me. And he was, he's a health nut. And he says to me, Jonathan, why don't you buy the fresh blueberries as opposed to the frozen blueberries? Because the fresh blueberries have all the living enzymes there in the food for you. And I just kind of smiled at him and I said, Dad, what's an enzyme? And are enzymes really alive? I mean, do they get up and talk with their neighbors about what's going on in the news today? No, enzymes aren't alive. Enzymes are proteins that will speed up chemical reactions that take place in your cells. So those are made up of proteins. So they're essential for chemical reactions in the body. They also will make up components like skeletal and muscle tissue. And for example, antibodies are proteins. So proteins are vital to your immune system as well. Now, we got two different things when it comes to digestion. We've got ingestion and we've got absorption. So just because we put something into our body doesn't mean that our body's going to do a stellar job of absorbing it. So that comes to where our sources of protein are coming from. For example, with our animal proteins are concentrated and very good sources of protein, in addition to readily absorbable sources of minerals such as iron, zinc, and calcium. Now, your plant proteins, they're not used quite as efficiently in the body as animal proteins to build with, and they also provide B vitamins, zinc, iron, calcium, but they're less absorbable than your animal products. So, plant foods are generally excellent sources of fiber and phytochemicals. Phytochemicals are things that contribute to our body's healthy state. So they're not like phytochemicals are not like vitamins and minerals where health declines without them, but with phytochemicals, our health increases, but they're not vital for function. So your plant protein will contain phytochemicals and also kind of your healthy sources of fats, unsaturated fats, for example. Whereas your animal proteins are going to contain much more of your saturated fats there. Now, proteins are composed of amino acids, and amino acids are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. In fact, amino itself means nitrogen containing. So these amino acids are composed together and they form certain proteins. Now let's take a look at this one right here. We're seeing an amino acid right here, and this is the amino acid leucine. In fact, if you take a look at some of the recent research that's trending in the industry about branched chain amino acids, they're saying that leucine is one of the rate limiting factors on muscle protein synthesis. So leucine is a really, really important amino acid in the body that is needed to build muscle, right? So if we take a look, it says here, all amino acids have a similar structure that includes an amino group and an acid group, giving them their name. And of all the amino acids, we've got 20 of them. 9 of them are considered essential because your body can't make them itself. Okay. Now, so we want to make sure when we're having a complete protein is going to contain all of your essential amino acids in there. Now, proteins being made up of amino acids will be linked by peptide bonds, as we're seeing here. And, you have 2 of them together, dipeptide, tripeptide for 3, and then, polypeptide is many, right? And they compose the shape and function of, for example, collagen. Collagen is found in our connective tissue, and the way that the peptide bonds and chains are made is that are structured so that they give strength to tendons and ligaments. Okay. Also, linear shape of muscle protein allows it to overlap and shorten during contraction. Now, when we consume our protein and we absorb it, we need to, in the digestive process, we need to denature the protein. Now, hydrochloric acid is really, really good at denaturing proteins. And then we also have an enzyme in the digestive process called pepsin, which breaks down some of the peptide bonds that make up your proteins. So we break up that protein down into the amino acid, okay, or the amino acids, and then from there, the amino acids get absorbed, or they cross through the intestinal lining of our small intestine and into our blood. Now, the amino acids are available to us from consuming them in the diet, and also, interestingly, breakdown of our own body protein. So our body will kind of reuse protein, right? So it'll break down a particular protein in the body, and then it will reuse it, the amino acids, for something else. Now, we call this the amino acid pool. Does that mean that there is a particular place in your body where these amino acids are just kind of sitting there? Not really. It just means that these molecules are available in fluids and cells, and they provide, as amino acids, provide those raw materials for the body to synthesize proteins from those molecules, right? And during the synthesis of a protein, as your body's making a particular protein, for example, forming muscle, a shortage of an amino acid can stop the process. So again, talking about making sure you're consuming complete proteins containing all the essential amino acids is going to help you make sure that your body has what it needs to create the proteins that it needs when it's repairing itself or building muscle or strengthening the immune system, such as that. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.